Hello again from Elation Productions. Today I got kind of a quick tip for you, something I just recently discovered while working on a restoration project of mine. Currently in the process of restoring a 9-inch Diarco shear, and I got some of the parts here you can see, and I'm looking to clean out these old parts here, and I'm powder coating them nice bright clean yellow. And one of the problems I had initially was when I was dismantling a lot of these parts, taking the bolts out and all this stuff and cleaning it up for powder coating, there were some oiler caps in there. The uprights have oiler caps in them, and these the cam presses which attach to the shear itself had little oiler caps pressed in them too. They're about 1/4 inch, and they were press-in variety. These little oiler caps that got the spring-loaded lids on them. You just put a little bit of oil in there and the lid keeps most of the dirt and debris out. But the problem I was having was pulling them out so I could clean them up. And with these two here, what I ended up having to do, because I'm taking pliers and grabbing these things and I'm pulling them, and they're just made out of real thin brass, and they're just bending up and breaking off, and they're leaving half of them stuck inside the hole there. And with the first two, I had to end up actually taking a punch and carefully beating them out. Surprisingly, I didn't damage anything, except it was just a pain trying to take these out in little pieces. But something I'd realized for a better method of doing that, and maybe you find this helpful too, I hope, is what I found now for the uprights of pulling these out. I'm taking a pair of real small needle nose locking jaw pliers like these vice grips here, and what I'll do, I'll clamp them down on the inside of the cup there nice and tight, and what that does, that gives me an edge there. It's held on real tight, because these are pressed in, but they're not pressed in super tight, but they're very hard to get out because they're so the bodies of these are so frail and you can't really grab them that well. So what I found works real well, I lock on with some locking jaw pliers there, and I'll just take a regular flathead screwdriver and I'll just use it for a prying surface, and I'll just stick it in there like so, and I'll just give it a little bit of a twist, and I'll gradually work the cups out using the vice grips as a pry point. Just like so. Some of these are going to pull out harder than others. These ones are giving me a harder time here. You got to clamp down real tight with these so they don't want to slip off. And you're going to deform the cup. This one that I pulled out here, I mean, you can see the top of the cup is no longer round. It's still usable because it should still seal, but it just deformed. It doesn't look pretty. I've got new ones on order anyways. But this is I found this a decent way for, there we go, here we go, for pulling these out in one piece, opposed to like I did with the first ones, trying to chisel them out and potentially damage the castings or do something to mess it up. And likewise this one, it's a little bit deformed at the top, but the bottom is actually still pretty round. It probably could technically be reused if I didn't have some new ones on order already. But anyhow, that's my little tip for today. I just found that method to be extremely helpful at pulling those out in a less brutal, destructive way. I hope you found that useful for your future projects. Thanks for watching, and until next time.